Is that two? That's two.
Yeah,
live.
mine.
Hey, welcome to Extemporadio. As we're
Hello.
shifting cables around tonight, I'm Brendan O'Day.
I'm Sam Caban.
We're here at 7 o'clock on Memorial Day. This is not pre-recorded. This is live.
Live, baby.
And so we're still trying to figure out how to make this the whole switch over, fill out your show information and get another show set up in under 5 minutes. I'm not going to say that it's like a little Benny Hill skit where you can kind of hear the music.
Cut off.
There we go. How you can hear.
Oh my god, that song, dude. I forgot all about that. Oh, my bad. All right, cool.
No.
Oh, the table too. Here we're doing these. All right.
Oh, look at that. Oh, we've got some mic play. So, all right. Yeah, that is cool. And my computer is still trying to figure out what's going on. It's been switched over 4 times tonight with different things. But what the camera is looking at right now is the screen of the music that's playing.
Awesome. Here you see it.
As you see, how that plays out. So in order to be a composer on this music program, you have to have the eye of a 4-year-old in how you would draw something mixed in with a little bit of a what do you call them? What's the machine that you roll the ball and it drops into a tub and it tips the tub and the tub hits the shoe thing and it spins around.
All I think of is Mousetrap now.
Yeah, it's Mousetrap.
Is it Mousetrap?
Yeah, that's the game, but that's got a name for it. It's a type of a machine, and I can't remember what it's called. Because that's the problem, kids, when you get older, is the first thing that goes is your memory. That's hilarious. The thing that's easier to move is the phone. It is the camera. That's an awesome camera. So it is. I'm gonna force quit this damn thing. Let's see.
What are you forced to quit?
My little thing is just spinning. I upgraded to what do you call it? Lion, which is the latest operating system from Apple.
Oh, okay.
But it's on now a 4-year-old computer. So it's this super powerful operating system on what may be just too old of a machine to run it super efficiently.
Right.
So it likes to think about things for a while now, which it never did. So I might be down to that thing where you
downgrade.
I think I'm going to reinstall the whole thing.
Oh, okay.
And just start with a full reinstall because it's just doing its weirdness.
Clean it up. Clean it up, man. Clean it up, man.
So, are we still? Oh, now we got reflection. Beautiful. Hey, that was great. Camera. What the hell are you making this so difficult? So I got a really cool thing that's going to happen as soon as this thing. Let's see. Now I'm force shutting it down. It's just bad. This is bad to do. Who knows? I probably just destroyed half the stuff on this laptop. But
Happy Memorial Day.
yeah, I remember it as the day the computer died.
Sacrificed itself for the show.
Death. The tragedy that was the sacrifice. Not to make light of the sacrifices that the veterans have made for for better than 2.25 centuries on behalf of the freedom-loving individuals of this country that actually give a rip about being able to say what they want to say. So I strongly suggest you support certain levels of... this camera is going to kill me. It's just one of those things where the camera itself is so light compared to the strength of the wire in the cord,
right,
that the cord can actually force the camera
just
where it
moving
wants
around
it to go. So,
action.
that to me is like the highlight of my day, is when you have a piece of crap technology like that just...
Piece of crap.
Yeah, well, you know, we sold our souls, I guess, a couple decades ago, 3 or 4 decades ago.
To the cameras?
Well, to China and to overseas production of things, and the idea is that, well, that's all good, because that means we got lower cost goods. You know, everything went down in price, and all that's really cool stuff. But the reality is that, you know, it took away a lot of good manufacturing jobs, and a lot of people don't make enough money to pay for even the crappy things that we have shipped over from China. So it wasn't like the greatest plan ever conceived. It certainly had its shortcomings. So you know, we're paying the price of that, I think, right now to a great degree. Yeah, you know. We'll see what that translates to in the coming years, in the near future, and what that's going to mean for all of us. Right now, we're just a bunch of saps,
Suckers.
bunch of suckers, playing along and going along for the ride. So, as I wait for this complete reboot of my system, so I can properly introduce the show. I think that's going to get added to the to-do list of always restart the computer at 6:30, so it's fresh and live and ready to go. So, oh, this is crazy. Why did it? I did a complete shutdown, forced shutdown, and it's trying to reload everything. Nope.
It's going to be a slow show.
Hey, this is going to be like your last call to tech support. What I'd like you to do now is press Control-C. Press and hold that for 90 seconds. Here, count with me. 1, 2.
MS-DOS.
MS-DOS. So say something. Talk to me. What's going on? Well, don't get into anything yet. Just Phil. You know, just Phil.
I hung out with my baby over the weekend.
Oh, how was that?
I experienced the first night of him sleeping totally through the night.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so it wasn't like, you know,
Crazy.
he sleeps for 2 hours and freaks out and stuff.
Sure, yeah.
Like he slept from like 10:30 to 6 a.m. and I freaked out at like 5 a.m. I just woke up. I was like, oh, I thought something happened. So I'm looking around. I'm like looking around. I'm like, is it dead? And
oops.
Yeah. And then I'm like, oh no, he's cool. And then he woke up and he was totally chill. First time for that. Not that, you know, and it wasn't that big of a breakthrough, but it was certainly super nice to sleep totally through the night without him geeking out.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
See, what else? Little stuff. Definitely got stuck on because of him. Got stuck on watching Yo Gabba Gabba a lot. You know what that is? You hear Yo Gabba Gabba?
No idea.
It didn't last for too long. It shut down, but it's definitely, as far as kids shows go, that show's a riot. Because I think what they did is they did a really great job at catering to adults as well as children in a creative way. So there's a lot of similarities to like these old, what was it, like 8-bit NES games.
Sure.
And sound effects that come from old school DJs. And they also tend to couple it with, they have like little guest appearances by well-known musicians and artists and actors, all on a, you know, what's actually a kid's show. But that's what makes it so cool for an adult to watch it. You know, it's just like you'd see Mos Def on there, or you'd see the Ting Tings, you know, play a set on there, or if you're into DJs and the electronic music, like Chromeo played a set on this kid. And these kids have no clue who these people are or whatever.
Right.
But it's fun to watch for adults because of that, you know. Like they'll have what else? Really, really goofy, like just like any other kid show, really goofy, catchy kid songs about, I don't know, dumb crap, washing your hands and going to bed, and,
Yeah.
you know, not putting your hands in people's faces and taking turns. And I find myself like liking the songs. Like I'm not, you know, it's not really annoying. Like I remember back like when Barney was around, I wanted to just smash my face into a wall because it was so annoying to me. But these shows are pretty funny. Do we have a call already? Is that us? That's not us. Dude. That's how big we are.
Is that a caller? Caller?
Hello, this is Tony. I'm calling with the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. How you doing today?
What? Let's do it.
Hey,
I'm doing
Tony.
fantastic.
Hey, Tony. I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good.
What's going on, man?
Well, what we're doing is we got a summer promotion, and right now I can get you all 7 days home delivery of the Journal-Sentinel for just 36 cents per day.
That's
And our
impossible.
big Sunday paper.
My family's from the printing industry, Tony. There's no way you can afford to print and send out that newspaper for 37 cents a day.
36 cents a day.
36 cents a day. The deal just keeps. Tony, let's get to 35, buddy. How do we make this thing happen? Let's get this down to 35.
You know, I can't do that, but
34, Tony. I can feel you hesitating, but I can feel you want to make that move to 34.
to 34.
34 cents a day, Tony. Think of it. Think of all the drama. Think of all the expanded opportunities that both of us, you and me, can have.
Oh, yeah, you know. Well, how's $2.50 a week sound?
$2.50. Now, Tony, what does that include? Bring me up to speed here. Tell me what's included in that.
Well, that includes your money-saving coupons, your best local, regional, national, international news, best classifieds in the area.
So, is that if I'm looking at classifieds, am I looking at classifieds both in the paper and online?
Yes, we throw on the JS online free of charge.
Because Tony, let's be honest. Let's be honest here. The classifieds aren't what they used to be, are they?
Well, you know, I still enjoy them, especially during the summertime.
Yeah.
You know, going out garage selling.
That rummage sale page is a godsend, isn't it?
It is. I love it.
Do people get to put those rummage sale ads in for free, or are those charged?
I believe those are charged.
Those are charged, and they're still putting that many in. Holy cow. That is impressive. That's amazing. That's a lot. So in that 37 cents a day, in that $2.50 a week, in that $13.77 a month, in that $26.50 for every 9 months. Hey, we're about to be blown off the air here. Look at this storm coming in here. That is crazy. You guys just dodged a bullet. In that $2.50, what's included in that? What are we looking at?
Well, you're looking at all 7 days.
All 7 days, and that's home delivery. All 7 days, 37 cents.
Uh-huh.
That's unbelievable, man. So on a typical Sunday, how many dollars worth of coupons am I looking at in a typical Sunday paper?
Well, between the Wednesday and the Sunday paper, you get an average of 150.
So I get $150 in savings against 37 cents a day. Let's take it out to the $2.50 a week. So $300 in savings in coupons. Now, obviously, to save $300, I've always disliked that type of marketing where someone says, "Oh, hey, nice new bed. What'd you pay for that?" "Oh, I saved $900." No, you didn't. You spent $2,100 to save that $900. You didn't save $900. You spent $21. But to save that $150 on Wednesday and $150 on Sunday. You know, there's certainly got to be some good cents off and even probably some dollar off coupons in there, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So basically we need $2.50 off coupons to get ourselves maybe even like an Arby's coupon, say, for 2 for 1 on a sandwich. Like if you were going to go buy a sandwich for $3 and now you can take your friend with and get them a sandwich for $3 that you don't have to pay for. That just covered the whole week's worth of paper, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Holy mackerel. That is amazing. That's just astounding. Hey, Tony, I really want to thank you for calling into Extemporadio on riverwestradio.com tonight. I realize that's kind of a weird thing that you're just, sitting there with a random chance of an auto dialer just popping you onto the air here. But,
oh, yeah, definitely.
So we appreciate you being a part of the radio show tonight. I think the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel just got about 15 minutes of free advertising, and you've been great. You certainly acquitted yourself well, and I appreciate the no high pressure sales. And I mean, I don't know how high pressure you can be pushing the newspaper, but you certainly were awesome.
Yeah,
And
the newspaper sells itself.
there you go. Look at that. I tell you, I really appreciate you calling in here and doing that for us tonight. That was kind of awesome. And we're going to use the occasion of your introduction here to really formally welcome our audience into the radio show tonight. So that was Tony from the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel calling in with an amazing offer of 37 cents a day. Give Tony a call. Tony, do you have a phone number that people can call in on?
Well, the problem is we're an outbound call center, but let me give you a customer services number.
Yeah, if you have the Journal Sentinel's customer service number, we'll take that.
Ask for Tony.
It's 414 224.
Go ahead.
2222.
Call that number, folks. Tell them Tony sent you, and get yourself a copy of that copy of the Journal Sentinel sent to your home 7 days a week for a reasonable $2.50 a week. That's amazing. Tony, thanks so much, man. Really appreciate
Thank you for your time.
You betcha.
All right.
Welcome to Extemporadio. You're listening to riverwestradio.com.
And there you go. Tony's in tonight. What are the odds that your first call in a given night would be the Journal Sentinel? It's a beautiful night here in. That is just coming off of here. That's amazing.
That's loud, man.
Yeah, it's coming out great. It's gonna do this.
That just happened. That's baller.
Yeah, we actually had Tony.
Tony.
There we go. Figured out a way to get. We got another workaround here. This is fabulous. You are here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin tonight in the beautiful River West neighborhood that is about to become submerged in this torrential downpour. Appreciate those of you tuning in tonight and listening. Tell your friends they too can listen in and enjoy some beautiful, beautiful radio here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We have finger dances going on. Finger dances with wolves. If there was a wolf in here, I'd be totally happy right now if that happened.
Michael Flatley, finger dance. Like a bunch of fingers.
Exactly. There we go. Cool. So we've made it to 20 after 7 already, and haven't said a damn thing. So let's cover some territory here, and just see if we can't get some stuff on the air. So coming up, this is like the one thing that I probably want to talk about is my good friend Jeff Lampton, who, if anybody wants a copy of the impassioned plea for understanding his circumstance and his plight, just contact me through Facebook. It's facebook.com/BrenDamaged, and you can reach me there, and I'll send you the Jeff Lampton dissertation on self. It's quite impressive. But Jeff has a show coming up on Friday, June 1st at the Blue Pig, which is on Packard Avenue. It's 5036 South Packard Avenue in Cudahy. The Blue Pig is the old Vanuk's bar that is basically a rock club, and it's a pretty awesome place. But Jeff will be putting on 2 shows that night: a clean show at 9 p.m. on a Friday night, and then a politically incorrect, no holds barred show at 11. And both those shows are he's basically doing it as a donation. The suggested donation is $10, but he doesn't want that to keep you from coming to the show. So come to the show. If you can't afford it, just say, "Hey, I'm just here to see the show. Sorry, I don't have anything." And if you go to the show and you get to the end of the show and you think it's so awesome and you want to pay more, please do. Jeff has a new book out that you can find excerpts on mkefunny.com. Jason Evans at MKE Funny is promoting Jeff's book and putting some of the chapters up there. If you want to get a flavor for who Jeff Lampton is, Jeff's a former national touring comic that because of some weird circumstances, he's kind of now a local regional guy. But Jeff has been all over this country with comedy. He's really a unique voice in comedy today, and you can check that show out on the 9th and on the 1st at 9 and 11. Sorry, at the Blue Pig down in Cudahy. I'll be there. I know a bunch of people are going to be there. It's going to be a good show, and really worthwhile taking a look. So that's what's going on down there. I just simply have shows coming up still on the 15th and 16th in June at the Kiwani Inn on the 15th. That's a Friday, and at the Nature's Edge Resort in Wapaka on Saturday the 16th. Both of those are 8 p.m. shows, and they're $10. So come on out, see some comedy when you're in the outlying areas. Come out on Wednesday nights to see our fabulous open mic at Stage Right inside the Miramar Theater at the Miramar Theater on Oakland and Locust in Milwaukee. So that's at 7 o'clock on Wednesday. So that's my stuff. You want me to plug your stuff too? I'll just keep going. No, I'm kidding. What's going on?
You could.
What's coming
It'd be
out?
easy for me. The ebook is set to be released the 1st of June next month. That's Friday. I'll probably push it out at midnight, depending on how I feel. If not, whenever I get up in the morning. But it's gonna be available June 1st. I'm gonna post it up via Facebook. So if you want to get the ebook for free, it's called Kill the Game. It's a book based on relationships and pickup and dating and self-improvement, and it's free. But it's only going to be available through my Facebook page, so facebook.com/POW. Well, POW and Love are both supposed to have like exclamation points, but since they do not allow me to do that via Facebook, I just did do lowercase i's. So it's like upside down exclamation. It's the best I could do. So POW, I love I.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that works out. So, or you can just go to powlove.com and there's a Facebook link and you can click it. It'll take you there.
Sure.
So you can get the book through then. It's nice. It's on PDF. I'm looking at it right now on my Nook. And so it's a quick 40 pages, easy read, great read as far as I'm concerned. But I write like I talk, so don't expect any wonderful verbiage. You expect a lot of pirate talk and a lot of swears and stuff. So basically, the way that I talk is the way that I write.
Pirate talk.
Pirate talk. And until somebody teaches me how to write well, this is what's going to come out of me. And then I posted up some new material. Well, actually, if you want to see the excerpt before, there's a final excerpt for the book that you can look at now before the book comes out, so you can get a feel of what the book is like. Also, front page on powlove.com you can check out, and also on the same page, I put up a video because I've been doing the bad date videos for a while, and I thought this would be now that there's been 5 of them, this would be a good time to put in something a little more serious. So I have a friend, my buddy Joe, had been diagnosed with cancer, and doctors are like, well, you've got 3 years to live. And when I talked to him last night, my friend told me about it. I got in contact with him, and he's actually like surprisingly good mood about everything. He still goes out and has fun, does whatever work that he can do, takes good care of himself.
Sure.
He's got like a wonderful attitude about life. Even though these people are like, well, you've only got 3 years left. You know what I mean? Jesus. So.
It's amazing.
So we did a video on him, just a quick, interview with less than 10 minutes of him talking about, how we used to hang out and, how he's been keeping a good attitude throughout everything. And then, and that's pretty much, as far as that goes, that's all Pow Love stuff. And then, tonight, I'm going to be, as soon as this show is done and I get a chance to sit down at home, sorry, I'm talking too late. But as soon as I get a chance to sit down at home, I'm going to post out an offer that I got going on through the month of June, to take free Taekwondo lessons. So it's going to be through a website called the Cash Coupon. There's links and everything. Actually, if you just go to samcaban.com, on the right-hand side, there is a picture that says ATA, and that stands for American Taekwondo Association. You can click that link, and it'll basically tell you and take you through everything that you need to know.
Sure.
And also there's like a Taekwondo video demo that got done by Paramedia for Jesse. I can never say his last name right. Stenbroten, I believe.
Yep. Stenbroten. Yep.
And Meg
Strobel.
Thank you. And they did an excellent job. They had shown me their video they'd done before of a wedding prior to, and then they they gave me the option, because they did a little photo shoot with me, but they also gave me the option. They're like, listen, we're trying to build up, so let us do a video on you, and we'll edit it, and you can get it for free. And I was like, wonderful. And when I saw the video, it's no longer than like, I think like a minute 10 seconds, but it's excellent video. So I posted that up, and you get to see me do some work there, and see what it is that you're going to be coming into, as opposed to just, you know, wondering if I'm any good. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to making stuff up.
I think one of the cool things about what Jesse and Meg are doing, on top of everything else of what they're doing, they have a real sense of social media and the current climate of things, in that they really get in. They won't let you put out something that people won't
like.
Yeah, or watch.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be great to put up a 5 or 10 minute video, but it has to be compelling for 5 or 10 minutes. If it's not, man, the click out rate is so huge. It's like, screw this, I'm out. So it's really great to be able to have somebody who kind of knows what they're doing. That's Jesse Stenbroten and Meg Strobel at Pear Media, and they just do a great job. You can check out their stuff at pearmedia.com, or Meg Strobel on Facebook. It's facebook.com/Meg Strobel, and you can see some of the videos that they've already put together. So it's funny. Now it's just kind of poppy.
Yeah, we got to get like some...
maybe just some hoods.
There you go. Mo pop.
That was me. I was going to say, the wind just picked up another 45 miles an hour, and I thought maybe we just caught a lightning strike.
No.
It's a beautiful day outside here in the River West.
Oh, man. No, yeah. So like, just go to that page on samcaban.com, click the ATA thing, and you can find out how to get, well, you're really getting the cash coupon, unless you already have cash coupon. You pay $10 for the cash coupon, but it's like a month for the first 20 that follow through on this deal. It's a month of taekwondo for free. The next 20 is for $20, and anybody after that's for $35. It's like, it's grossly cheap compared to what most of these people do. And yeah, you guys are basically going to fall into my test group, but it's like, I'm going to see how much I can get, not out of you, but how well versed in taekwondo I can get you within a month's time. That silly camera.
It's a little bit better view here.
There you go.
I just had the whole mic post and everything was crossed through your face. I think it's a little better shot.
Yeah, cool. Thank you.
More artistic since it's looking
with the shining
straight down the
angels.
Straight down the barrel of a ceiling fixture. There you go.
Cool.
So, well, that's awesome. So a lot of stuff happening on powlove.com and samcaban.com.
Ton of stuff.
Yeah, that's great. So hook in there, and coming up, I'm sure in coming weeks here, we're going to have some progress reports on some of your coaching candidates, and that's pretty awesome. So, that's pretty great stuff. That's all going down here. It's 7:29 here on Extemporadio on riverwestradio.com. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Coming up here on Thursday this week, the 31st, a good friend of Milwaukee comedy, Duncan Carson, is coming back from Austin for a few days. Going to be popping in town for a long weekend, and you'll be able to see him Friday, June 1st at Karma Bar and Grill at the Cast of Killers show, and he'll be doing some time there. So I'm going to leave you here just for a few minutes, take a little break, and we're going to go away and give you a few minutes of Duncan Carson at Cap City Comedy Club in Austin, Texas.
Duncan Carson.
Hey guys.
Hey.
Can everybody hear me okay? In the back? Or no? It's hard to understand me sometimes. There is a noticeable lisp in my voice, which I think is adorable, right, man? Right? It did really bother me growing up with a lisp, mostly because there's an S in the middle of the word, and that seems extra cruel, doesn't it? I'm suffering succotash, you guys. It's kind of like how the word dyslexia seems a little complicated to spell. Shouldn't that be a palindrome, just to be sensitive to... While we're here, shouldn't stuttering just be one syllable? All right. So, I think because I've never been that articulate, I just find talking to other people weird most of the time. Like my roommate, when he gets home from work, I'll say, hey man, how was work? Because that's what a person would say. And he says the weirdest thing sometimes when if he had a good day at work, he'll be like, I was kicking ass and taking names, bro. And every time I'm just like, okay, but you should probably take names first, right? Right? You can't just like elbow somebody in the throat and be like, was that Peterson with an E-N? That's what you... Or if he had a bad day at work, he'll be like, oh, the shit really hit the fan at work today. What do you do for a living? You're either fighting or throwing feces all the time. Like, I get that, like, the shit hit the fan is a metaphor, but every metaphor has to start somewhere. Right? So who do you guys think was the first person to say, well, I'll tell you what, Bob, we tried to put air conditioning in the monkey habitat. You get it. You get it. So, who can I trust to talk to me in a way that makes sense? Like, maybe the news? The news, they know facts, right? But they can't even say words like roadside bomb. They'll be like, some troops were killed in Afghanistan by an IED. That stands for improvised explosive device. And I think they might be overestimating the Taliban's improv training. Like, are they that quick on their feet? They're like, quick guys, there's a Humvee coming. I need a milk jug, some nitroglycerin, and a suggestion from the audience. Let's prov it out. Maybe once you get older, you know the right way to speak to people. But have you noticed that the elderly just like stupid phrases on throw pillows and embroidery? Yeah, like my favorite one ever is, the best way to hear God laugh is to tell him your plans. What a douchebag, right? So, oh, God's just up there laughing at everybody? What's that, Duncan? You want to go to grad school? That's hilarious. Like, God must constantly be in hysterics. He's just like, guys, come on, come here. This little girl from the projects wants to be a marine biologist. These people in Missouri want to have a tornado-free graduation ceremony. Plans, am I right? So I don't know, it's hard to be understood most of the time, but because, here's what I forget because I do comedy, is that context is really important. Not everybody has to hear my thoughts all of the time. You guys have to hear them right now, and that's pretty special. You know? Like, I could have any thought about anything, and you have to listen. Have you heard of the Weezer cruise? You go on a boat and you see Weezer, right? It sounds fun. I thought of my own thing. It's called the Shania Twain Train. You get it? Shania Twain, she performs on a train, opening for her the band Train. That's why I said it twice. I'm not having a stroke, all right? But that's just some ridiculous thought I had, and now you can't unhear it. You're welcome. Right? We're on a journey together. But the rest of my life, that's not how it works. You know, I go to what you'd call fast casual dining restaurants. You know, because I'm broke, but I still have dreams, all right? And your food takes a little longer there, so they say, can we have a name for your order, sir, to call it out? And here's the thing about me, guys, I mumble, and I don't have the best self-esteem, so I never nail the landing on saying my own name. Like, I wish I could just own it, head up like a gymnast, Duncan Carson, stand-up comedian. Follow me on Twitter. But I'm not that into myself. I'm just, Duncan? It's fucking Duncan. Give me one Panino, all right? So then, on the receipt, it'll be something that's not my name, because they didn't hear it. It'll be like Doug or Dugan. Or one time at a Panera Bread, I got the word dump. D-U-M-P, dump. They said, what's your name? And I said, Floor. And they're like, did he say dump? Yeah, that's a name somebody would have, or a nickname somebody would repeat. So here, now you guys know that happens to me a lot. I was at a burger joint a little while ago, and on the PA they were like, Doug, your food is ready. This shit again, right, everybody? So I went up to the counter and I'm just like, Doug, I know, mumbles. Hey, this isn't my food. And the girl looked at the receipt and she said, are you Doug? That should always be a yes or no question. I could ask all of you if you're Doug, and you'd say yes or no. I decided to go with, well. I don't know what I was going to say next. But fortunately, I was saved by a stranger standing right behind me who was like, I'm Doug, and it was his food, and that's the moment I realized I'm a crazy person. They didn't have the whole backstory because they can't read my mind, so they thought I just wandered in off the street like, who's Doug? Is Doug a happy person? I'll be him. Hey, man, are you married? Is she a handsy gal? Because I haven't been intimate in a while. I don't know. It's an awkward situation, but I can't just go to like the regular fast food places anymore, you know what I mean? Like I was at a Wendy's the other day at the drive-thru, and when the guy handed me my food, he said something devastating. He was like, here you go, sir. See you tomorrow. Yeah, that's not what you want to hear at a Wendy's, all right? I didn't know how to react for a second. I just like, do I come here every day? I don't, guys, I don't. I Googled it, and it's a marketing strategy. They want their Wendy's employees to be like, see you tomorrow, like it's a 50s diner, and you're going to tell them about the big game or something. And I'm not like a marketing guy, but I think they should go with something more reassuring, you know? Just like, maybe like Wendy's. We're very discreet. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.
Hey, that's Duncan Carson down at the Cap City Comedy Club in Austin, Texas. You can catch him on Friday night at Karma Bar and Grill, I believe at 9 o'clock or 8:30, and it'll be a good time. So just go to Duncan's Facebook or his Twitter. Follow him on Twitter at @DuncanCarson. At a Duncan Carson, like there's more than one Duncan Carson, and he's just one of them. He's a Duncan Carson. So we've got lots of fun activity, a lot of fire and rescue going on here in River West tonight. But that reminds me of last night down on North Avenue. Don't know if you made it down to North Avenue last night. For any horrible reason.
Horrible reason?
Why anyone would want to do that. But I just noticed this this continuous stream of kids. And by kids, I mean people under the age of 18. Last summer, there was an incident on the 4th of July weekend where a flash mob showed up in the Reservoir Park up on top of the hill there, and a group of about 50 kids swarmed through that park, assaulted a bunch of people who were there to watch the fireworks, then proceeded down the hill and trashed the BP station at the corner of North and Humboldt.
It's happening again?
The chief had a town meeting after that happened and said they will not stand for that this year. So anytime the police department starts to see activity that kind of looks like it might be something forming as a group of youths, the funny thing is nobody wants to say that this is really just a bunch of black kids. Right. Nobody wants to say those words. But I saw literally more than 200 kids on North Avenue last night. There wasn't one white kid among the group of the people who were moving as a group. But even within that group, there was obviously some tension because they all kind of wound up in the McDonald's about 8:30 on North Avenue, down just by Chambers, just in that gap between the creek and the river. And there's a fight that broke out inside the McDonald's. Apparently there was pepper spray sprayed at several of the combatants by police.
Right.
There's that moment when you're watching a crowd disperse where it starts with people just kind of moving in one direction.
Yeah.
And then it moves to people running. And then you see the tail end of it, and you see people kind of like flying and flailing as they kind of go through. I'm just like just kind of that whole just sailing through the air kind of a thing. That was because the cops were shoving them out the door at the McDonald's, like literally physically shoving
Get out of
people
McDonald's.
Yeah.
No burger for you.
I have never heard this phrase come out of a PA system on a squad car, but I heard the phrase, you must disperse. McDonald's is out of the cherry berry chiller.
What?
Apparently there was a run on the cherry berry chillers last night, and all these kids wanted one, and McDonald's ran out, and that's what started the fight, was that, hey, how about having a Coke tonight instead? Wow. Nope, nobody was standing for it, and so big fight broke out. So roaming around in the south end of River West last night I counted 12 unique squad cars 4 police SUVs, 2 of the Econoline paddy wagons, then the big paddy wagon, and then at least 6 different unmarked vehicles. I don't know how many arrests, if any, were made, or how many people were picked up, or what. But summer's here officially. I guess is what I'm trying to say. Summer's here. So have a good time.
Insane.
Try to stay safe this summer and not get yourself beat up by a big mob of children.
This is like a culmination of a bunch of really screwed up. I think so. I guess what are social norms now?
Yep,
you know,
exactly.
Like, dude. If it's that bad, or like riots are breaking out, you know, I mean, yeah, and you're right. When people are like seem to be too afraid to say it was like a bunch of black kids, you know, and I'm Puerto Rican, so if you want to get all testy with me, give us a call. But here's what I think, because I remember this was not too long after I heard about a lot of school programs being cut. And basically a lot of educational programs. I remember us having this conversation about this, and I was like, "You watch. This was before these riots, right? This is before the gas stations and stuff were getting robbed by like gangs of like 50 kids or whatever. Yeah. Like, you watch, they're gonna be riots breaking. Some weird stuff is gonna start to happen. No more than 2 weeks after I say that,
wow.
There's that one story about 50 kids, a gang of kids running down the street, beating some people up, just random people, just beating them up.
Yep.
Then there was the next story about a bunch of people running into a gas station, and it wasn't like a holdup. They ran in, took a bunch of stuff, ran out. Just dipped out, you know what I mean? Which is funny. I mean, you would think, you know, if somebody really wanted to, and this is when you know it was kids too, because when you know, they really want to rob something legitimate, they might go to like a bank or something crazy. They stole like chips and Gatorade and like, you know, Twinkies and snacks or whatever. They didn't even hit the register. They weren't even like, give us your money. They just took crap and left.
Right.
And like they owned the joint. So there was that, and then that moved up to West Dallas at State Fair. There was like the riots at State Fair. A bunch of people got beat up. And that turned into a KKK movement and all these. So it was like a spark of basically dumb, uneducated kids, which I'm sorry, happen to be a bunch of black kids, which is like in Milwaukee. I'm not surprised because this city's really screwed up like that. Like, dude, there shouldn't be, our education shouldn't be so bad that kids take it onto themselves, kids with no control, you know, poor kids, to just go do something crazy just to get entertained, right?
Sure.
So yeah, KKK come out, they're like, this is what we were talking about, blah 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 blah. They get ousted by like, I don't know, 2,000 people. It's like 75 like weirdos, you know, still trying to talk about, you know, the pure race or whatever. I'm like, get out of here, you weirdos. So they got kicked out. And I think all this comes down to a lack of direction and a media that tells us that, you know, our best entertainment is like dollar cherry berries, whatever, at McDonald's and stuff like that. So people, when people like, they just go nuts for dumb stuff now. Yeah. There's nothing good to live about. There's no really good leadership in Milwaukee, and there might be, but not for poor people. Right. You know?
Yeah. I think there's certainly a void. I think there's certainly a void in terms of the parenting.
That too.
You know, that's definitely a factor. Yeah, you have a school system that has been deemed to be I think it's a double-sided thing with the parents, where the parent that's there will back their kid at all costs against a school system that's trying to help their kid. So the school system's been rendered largely ineffective in offering any assistance. Right. You have the ineffectual parent. You have a society that said it's okay. You got to let them be kids. You can't, you know, they can't work jobs. You can't impose any standard on them at work because that doesn't help their self-esteem.
So they go nuts.
Yeah. So we allow this kind of garbage to go on. I saw a kid in that same McDonald's, in his McDonald's uniform, sitting at a table. He's a girl across the table from him. I don't know if she was his girlfriend or not. Hope not, the way he was treating her. But he's out and out swearing in the restaurant that he works in, calling this girl a number of names, and then on the phone yelling at somebody on the phone. And he's in the uniform of the place. Right. where I used to work when I was a kid working in a place like that in 1981, you didn't get to eat your lunch inside. If it was winter, you went and sat out in your car. If you worked an 8-hour shift, they did get you lunch, but you got this is crazy. If you chose to take the lunch and they paid you, they paid for your lunch, you earned a lunch.
Sure.
You also only got 15 minutes to eat it. That was the trade-off. So you basically paid for your lunch by only taking a 15-minute break. Now, if you went around front, took your shirt off, got in line, bought your lunch at the register, you got a full half-hour lunch if you wanted to.
Sure.
But if you wanted the free lunch,
you had to do it like that.
you had to do it like that
back in.
and get back on the line. And man, they told you what to do, and you just snapped to it and did it.
Right.
And I see these kids go, "Oh, why do I got to do that? How come that's not my?" Yeah. We've really come to this stage where it's just like, let them be what they want to be, let them say what they want to say, and this is what you get. These kids that think it's totally cool to videotape themselves committing crimes and then put it up and show off to their friends, right? Well, and the weirdest thing I saw this last night, the funny thing about kids who never leave the city, and this is more of an urban, suburban, country thing. I'm kind of a country kid. They brought out 2 horses last night, 2 horse patrols. That's what cleared everybody out. At one point, there were about 30 officers all standing around. And these officers knew that they couldn't move on these kids because the 200 kids versus the 30 officers,
they were manpower.
Yeah, they were
regardless of weapons.
Yeah, exactly. They were in a bad position. So, or things could certainly escalate in a way that they didn't necessarily want them to.
Right.
So all of a sudden, these 2 officers on horseback show up, and then I saw 2 more later. Mind-boggling how fast that crowd just blew out of there as soon as they saw those horses. And I don't know if you've ever seen the Milwaukee Equestrian Patrol. These are not these are not small
donkeys.
What are they called? Peruvian peso horses. These are the biggest quarter horse Arabian mixed giganto horse. They had to have been 16, 17 hands high. These things were just monstrous. And so I just thought that was crazy that's what dispersed the crowd was these cops on horses.
Sometimes it's all image.
Yeah,
man.
exactly. This interesting display of force. Here, we're going to show you a medieval warrior that you can't really get your head around.
Yeah.
It's going to freak you out.
Yeah.
So that was that was the end of my evening last night, was seeing and then I sat on my balcony for an hour watching the herd of kids being ushered back over to the other side of Holton.
Wow.
And it was so I don't know if that's going to become the norm until if this is something that's going to escalate all summer. Milwaukee's in a bad place. We're pretty much becoming Detroit. So it's pretty much time for Milwaukee to either put up or shut up and figure out if it's going to really change its ways. I don't see a lot of evidence that we're going to do that, but hey, we'll see what the city decides collectively as a group, if they want to change their path and move ahead as a society, or if they want to regress and become Detroit. So
who knows, man? This stuff is not. I feel bad harping on that stuff too, because some of my closest friends are African American gentlemen. If I don't know how they'd like to be represented, but they're professionals. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Physical therapists, a marketing specialist, and smart guys.
Sure.
But this is where it's going. First of all, #1 segregated city. I don't know how often that gets mentioned on the air. I don't care. It needs to be talked about.
Sure.
And we're at the point where it's like, it's normal. That's normal here. You can be like, where are the black people at? And I can tell you. You can be like, where are the Puerto Ricans? Where are the Asians? I can tell you. Where are the white people at? Where are the Jewish people at?
Yeah.
And you can point to a relative area or areas that they're all kicking it at, or doing their thing at, and it's separated, and it's everybody's to blame. I'm not going to be like white people and shake a fist or whatever.
Sure.
That's everybody. They're too used to enjoying the stereotype and sticking to their areas or whatever, and then and just keeping that as a norm as opposed to stretching out and creating a new education and, you know, connecting with each other.
Sure.
You know, as human beings and as a race, you know. I don't know if I sound like a hippie or whatever, but
well,
that's,
you know,
there's got to be a break. There's got to be a point where people start going, okay, this is more than the color. This is an educational situation.
Right.
If you got a bunch of poor, stupid people raising more people, how do you think they're going to raise them?
Right.
Poor and stupid.
So basically, you're calling for sterilization.
Yeah. Start over.
Yeah, no. You know, the reality is that you know, we used to if you go back to the 50s, it was know your place.
That's fair.
And that meant everybody take their spot in line behind the white man. Even white women.
That's not fair.
No, it's not. That's right. But today, you almost have to use that same phrase, but it doesn't have that same connotation today. What the connotation it has to have is, look, be a professional, be a human being.
Right.
You know, don't stop being an animal. Because that's animalistic behavior.
That's what it is.
This morning, I was over back in that same part of town just to see if there was any damage from the aftermath. And before this whole crowd kind of came down through this part of the town, it was odd because I noticed there were 3 cars parked out on the city street alongside the McDonald's.
Right.
And so this morning, there are 3 piles of window glass on the ground. So they smashed windows on all 3 of these cars. And for what? You know, that's some dude working inside the McDonald's making $8.75 an hour.
Yeah.
You know, because he's making $8.75 an hour because he's been there for 5 years. So he's gotten the whopping 75 cents worth of raises over the last 4 years.
I remember working at McDonald's. My manager would call me. It'd be like 6 a.m. I'm like, why are you calling me? And she'd be like, don't tell anybody else. I just gave you a 5-cent raise. I'm very proud of you.
5 cent an hour raise.
And we'll talk to you later. I was like, dude, it's my day off.
Yeah.
Anyway, go
wow,
ahead.
thanks for making my day. I worked 20 hours this week. That's $1 more, and that's going to cost me an extra 40 cents in taxes. So that's the way life is at McDonald's. But yeah, so this poor bastard gets his window busted in, smashed in at his $8.75 an hour wage, and now he's got to go buy 100. He's basically got to do a week's worth of work because that kid wanted to express himself. We don't say vandalize private property anymore. Now we say, oh, he chose to express his frustration and rage at the system by smashing that poor man's car window.
It's art. Really.
When we accept that, I don't know if you saw my tweet today, but I'm you know, the tough thing. I'm not going to say the words on the air, but I am going to put this on camera. I'm not a big fan of graffiti, but
oh, I saw that.
But this is I was amazed. It looks like somebody actually went to school to put this out. I don't know if that's going to come through. There we go. Yeah, right there. This is on a building at the corner of Meineke and Holton. It's on a garage on Meineke. I think that the focus isn't going to get any better. But I posted this just saying, you know, the graffiti just isn't what it used to be. And you know, it sums up a lot my feelings about this city. At the same time, it makes me very sad that that we've progressed. We've moved along chronologically as a society, and it used to be that the white man took concerted effort and focused effort to keep people of color down.
Right.
They would say things, they would do things, they would say, you're not welcome here. We had separate drinking. We had the whole horribleness of Jim Crow laws, and it was ridiculous. Today, we have exactly the same outcome. And we spend more on education per student than we ever have.
Right.
We have more programs targeting fairness, making more opportunities available. We have a distraught housing market brought on by the greed of white bankers, but also the greed of minorities who took advantage of programs that the government felt they had to do to make the playing field level.
Right. There's no real saint in that, you know.
No, the whole thing is so
Both
screwed
bad
up.
guys.
And so if we had 400 years of one protocol and that sucked balls, and then we have now 50 years of another protocol and that's yielding exactly the same results.
Right.
Guess what, folks? It's time for another significant, substantial change. And if you don't make that change, well, there's going to be a problem.
Extinction and dinosaurs, bro.
I think the time is going to have to be where they just release the nukes and turn them inward, and call this experiment in democracy a complete failure, and a representative republic a complete failure, and start over, because we just can't really do anything.
Well, I ain't looking to end my life just to hit the reset button. So screw that.
All right, so you don't want that to happen.
But yeah, we're like, dude, we're horrible when it comes to evolving socially. It's disgusting. Technology is doing great. Socially, we suck.
Yeah, we do
just suck. Actually, you know, as a matter of fact, it's because of how much we suck socially that technology is where it is now. It should be way farther.
Isn't that possibly couldn't you almost put that in a reverse too? That part of the problem where we're at evolutionarily in a societal sense is because we've got so many technological distractions.
Sort of distractions, sure, fair. You know, but there's going to be a distraction anyway. You know what I mean? There's going to be somebody. There's always somebody trying to get your attention, to get you to buy something or whatever.
Well, but it's beyond that. I mean, my kids go to school, and I remember my daughter's 26 years old. When she graduated, when she was in high school, I know we discussed at least four movies that she watched during her time in high school.
Yeah. 4
movies. I didn't watch a single movie ever. We didn't watch movies in high school, in junior high. You know why?
Why?
We were busy learning. We had lesson plans that needed to be completed.
Sure.
We had stuff that needed to have an outcome,
sure,
and get stuff to have done. So you can't just say that it's the technology's just been the greatest thing for us. It's had its own negative effects on things.
Fair, right?
So, and it's produced this distraction and this lack of focus and this short attention span that I think becomes as big a problem to overcome.
Yeah, but people created technology. Technology didn't create us. We're the ones creating the distraction in the first place.
Without a doubt. No, I'm not saying the blame is with technology. The blame is still on us.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't blame technology. It certainly makes, it's certainly given us advantages in certain areas, but that's just, the reality is, hey, it's still a truism, and we gotta get a different dynamic and some new standards back in place. So
standards, definitely.
It is almost straight up 8 p.m. here on Extemporadio. You're listening to RiverWestRadio.com. We're gonna take a little break. We'll be back in about 4 minutes.
We love you.
I hear a wind whistling air, whispering in my ear. Oh, Mercury, shoots through every degree. Oh, girl dancing down the
Yo.
Hey.
All right, that is B-52's Rome from Cosmic Thing. That one goes back a long while. That's an old song.
I actually got to watch that video. I never watched the video
Yeah.
until I was DJing at the strip club.
Oh yeah.
Because we did all video spinning, so they had like all these really old like they had these like throwback DVDs
Sure.
with all music videos.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Hold on,
like,
you used to be a
watch
DJ at a strip club?
Yeah.
those. Yeah, I didn't tell you.
used to
that?
be. Why aren't you still, man? That's insane. Really?
I got 1.5 million reasons that people don't expect. Like people think it's like a fantasy job, right? And at first it is.
Okay.
Like first because I started bartending there and then I started DJing afterwards because that's how I got in. Actually, I got in weird. It is weird. I got in because the manager there at the time was really cool friends with the manager I used to work for downtown as a bartender, and then when I got in there, also he was like, "Well, hey, do you DJ?" And I was like, "Well." I did a couple summers wedding DJ stuff, and he's like, all right, cool, good enough. We'll get you up to speed and we'll let you go. So I was like, okay. So I was there for 6 months before I became a DJ, and then for another 1.5 years I was there working there.
Wow.
But at first, right, I'd be at the bar and dudes would be like, bro, this must be your dream jobs. Hot chicks all over. You get to see boobies and stuff. It's sweet. And I'd be like, yeah, it was sweet. And I was like excited about it, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, this is a great job. And then you get to know the strippers. And then like, and then it's like, dude, they're crazy, man. These chicks are crazy, like legitimate. You know, some of them are really cool. I'm not gonna hit, bag on all of them, but there's a good grouping of them that just like, it's a different crowd of chicks. Like if you're used to chicks in a bar or at a regular place, the craziest thing you might see is a drunk chick and they get a little silly or whatever. But then think about just a drunk, naked, drugged up chick that hates a bunch of other chicks that are her competition trying to take her money.
See, that totally surprises me because college girls I wouldn't think would do that because most of them are just working their way through college, right?
Yeah,
I didn't think
they
they'd
don't.
act like that.
Well, strippers do. Stripper college girls.
We've been on the air. We've been back from the song for about 3 minutes here, and we haven't introduced the third voice you're hearing.
What up?
That is Jason Evans from MKEfunny.com. Jason is right there. Jason Evans is here tonight, just dropping by and brought us our swear jar, where we can start accruing our dollars for our on-air failures.
Nice.
And I'm sure we're both getting a better handle on that as we get closer to an FCC license here. That
You
won't
gotta donate
happen.
that money to a charity of some sort?
Yes, absolutely.
We'll party with
Absolutely.
it.
No, it's a serious charity.
I'll have to get one.
Charity of fun.
You always say yes.
No.
It's yes and. It's the rule in comedy.
think,
You always say yes. So yes, the charity is Sam and my drinking habit.
Oh, yeah.
okay.
It's-
I was
it's a
gonna-
charity that we're
I was going to
donating.
say possibly it could be charity to the strippers so they don't have to strip. They could just use it for college. It's
Nah,
a
man,
callback.
they'll blow it on clothes and then they'll keep stripping.
Oh,
Promise you.
really? Well, you would know
Yeah.
better than me. You would.
I'm serious, man. I tell you, like, out of all the girls, there's only a couple that were actually going to school. And one of those girls she used to work at a bank. She tried robbing her own bank.
Wow.
So she's working at a bank and
That's
she's stripping-
dedication.
Dude, hardcore. But yeah, these girls are crazy, man. It's a totally different environment where it's like, obviously us, the crew that are working there, the strippers, and then there's like gangsters, legitimate street gangsters, and there's biker gang gangsters, and then there's drug pushers and pimps trying to come in. They'll like try to bring in their prostitutes in to like steal business from the strippers.
Wow.
Dude, it is insane the stuff that I've seen at that place. I can't say some of this stuff
Jeez.
on the air or on the internet. I just won't.
And they seem so nice when you go there.
Oh, yeah,
The
it's
dancers
just-
seem so nice.
Wholesome type
Yeah.
of, you know.
They give you hugs and stuff.
Yeah.
It's,
Glad you came
seems
again.
like it's all about,
How's the dog?
Yeah.
No, not like that, man. And it was yeah, that place is insane, man. And I've seen like fights break out, and there's this. Yeah, maybe I can talk about this guy. This guy should not have been out. I don't think this guy shouldn't even been out in public. Is like I think he had like a mental issue or whatever.
Wow.
We used to call him Spare Change. I told you about Spare Change, didn't I? Did I tell you about Spare Change?
I'm drawing a blank.
It's a horrible nickname.
So yeah, we'll let you know why we call him Spare Change, my friend. So he would he was a weird dude. Like obviously he was like socially inept. He would go up to the stage and give the girls singles, and when they would take their top off, he would shy away. So they take, like, he's paying to see, you know, some boobs. So he'd take the top off and he'd be like, no, no, no. And he would turn his head away and he would cover his eyes. I was like, what's up with this dude? I'm watching him do this, right?
Yeah.
Paying them to keep their clothes on.
Yep. And then I remember at one point, a stripper gets down and starts making a clap, you know, and starts shaking her butt in his face. And he goes, oh, I've never felt this before. And he runs into the bathroom.
Oh no!
Because he had done something to himself.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. But so here's the reason we call him spare change. Spare change. We found out that if he finds a quarter on the floor, he will stop everything he's doing and he will scour. He will look around the entire club under chairs and tables for more change.
Oh, okay.
So people figured this out, and to be jerks, they started throwing change on the floor. They know he'd find it. He had an eye for it, so they'd throw a quarter on the floor, and they would all do it, right? So he'd find like $4 or $5 of change on the floor, you know, until everybody was done messing with him. He would come to the bar and be like, can I, oh, by the way, he didn't drink. He didn't drink alcohol. He would just drink Cokes. And he couldn't say it because he had a stutter. But after a while, I'd start knowing what he wanted. So he's like, can I get a, and I'd be like, a Coke? He'd be like, yeah. You know, and I'd give him his Coke. And then he'd give me a bunch of change. Can you make singles? We'd give him singles.
Wow.
He'd throw the same singles that he made out of the change that he picked up all over the floor when people were messing with him.
Oh,
and he'd give them to the strippers. We also found out that he wore a purple thong. We found this out as he was bending over to pick up change. And
wow, that's disturbing.
Yeah, here's the cherry on top. So one of the girls comes running up to me, and I've heard this a few times after, but the first time was definitely freaky. Rose running up to me. She's like, "Oh my God, spare change! Just tried to offer me money to come home with him and film him having sex with his dog."
Wow.
That's illegal.
Yep. Spare change, baby.
Holy cow. You'll never think of that phrase the same way again. Holy cow.
That's amazing.
Thanks for that.
Thanks
for that image.
Hey, that was what it was like. See, it's one thing when you're there for the show. It's one thing when you're there and you're like, yeah, and they're dancing and it's music and your drinks and you're having a great time. Fine. But when you get to know people and you get to see
the weirdos come
the
out.
Weirdos, bro.
Weirdos at a strip joint, I would have never have thought.
Right?
What are the chances? All right, so
Just doesn't happen.
I hope you enjoyed that.
That was a very enjoyable story. I will add that to my collection.
One of many. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, we've got Jason Evans in here tonight from MKE Funny, dropping by the show, dropping off our swear jug, and
dude, I went through that whole story without swearing.
That's good.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are not gonna have a party
Thanks.
to go to.
Thanks for reminding us that you were telling a story. I was trying to help everybody forget. And
No, remember, forever, spare change for life.
So this week's big release on MKE Funny was the Jeff Lambton chapters of his now available book. What have you taken away from this as a person who's responsible for putting out information and you know?
I've never done it before. I've never.
It's the first
released
time
any
with a
kind of book. Yeah.
Sure.
Usually I do interviews and stuff, but I think a lot of the comics have come to know that if they ask me to do something, I'll do it no problem, whatever they need. Whether it's selling merchandise for them or putting anything up on my site, I'll do whatever I gotta do. You know, if it's a book that they want to get out there, I'll be glad to put it out there for them.
Sure.
You know, uncensored, ready to roll, whatever they want to do. You know, he said, read it over and see what you think.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I read everything I post, but I'm posting up whatever you got. So,
Right.
you know, I don't censor anybody.
Not
or
looking to
anything.
edit. Right.
Absolutely
That's
not.
cool.
You know, and then but it's all on there. It's 5 chapters. It's, you know, if you know anything about Jeff Lambton, it surprised me even, and I've known Jeff Lambton for maybe about 6-7 months, you know,
Sure.
here and there. And it was like, wow, you know, and I've been putting excerpts up on Facebook with some, you know, a couple little teasers.
A couple lines here and there, yeah.
But it's cool to see an insight on somebody like Jeff Lambton and anybody really, but Jeff Lambton is a awesome person. He's a very kind person, and now he's trying to do this autobiography, and I'll do anything I can to help him out. And he also has that show that you were talking about before, you said on Friday.
Yep, on Friday, June 1st at 9 and 11 down at Vinook's Blue Pig down 5036 South Packard Avenue. You can check that show out. It is a pay what you can show, so you are not obligated to. You're not. There's no obligation, but it's really, it's a de facto legal defense fund for Jeff Lampton. It's really a fun to get Jeff back out on the road full time, out traveling, living out of his van, so he can start making some money again. Jeff really was starting to get some traction, and then it kind of backed off and just didn't continue where he wanted it to. And boy, I tell you, you can read all about that in the book. All that's in there.
Yep.
It's pretty. It's laid pretty bare, and it's a real worthwhile read. So
I couldn't stop reading it. I started the and I just couldn't stop. I'm like, okay, I got to read this whole thing. This is crazy. And then he also dropped off a letter to his newborn son, and that's the beginning of the book, which is pretty wild.
Sure.
So, which is the reason we're all doing this comedy show, and that he's doing the comedy show on Friday for.
Sure.
So, but it's touching. It's touching. But like I said, if anyone wants anything done, can contact me, and I'll throw it up right away. So, whatever you guys need, whatever comics need in the city.
So if there's a novel that you've been writing that you haven't finished yet,
and you're a comic,
get it to Jason Evans, and he'll just throw that sucker up there, and he'll just throw that right up there. So
I'll advertise it.
But it's a good time. That's awesome. That's hilarious. No, he's.
Did you have an autobiography you'd like me to put?
Oh God, no. No. First of all, too boring. Second of all, not my thing to Jeff's a dude who pretty much he lives out loud.
Absolutely.
He's pretty bare. Most of my comedic stories come out of my life. But it's pretty sanitized, and it's pretty just experiential in how things strike me, as opposed to he will take anything that's happened to him in his life as horrifying as a SWAT team approach to his apartment, and he will tell you about that with no holds barred and no editing, and you'll hear all the bad things he did and all the things that got him into that spot. And my stories aren't that good, frankly. They're just not that good. He lives a much bolder life than I do.
Does. Yes, he does.
And a lot of it's brought on by his own foibles and his own proclivities. But hey, that's good for him, And he's a character because of it, and he's a compelling story. So make sure you do check out Jeff Lampton's book on Jason Evans, the excerpts on Jason Evans' site, mkefunny.com. Really worthwhile read. So check that out when you get a chance. We were talking about fights,
spare chains,
and we were talking.
That'd be a great story.
We were talking about the 9/11 video, loose change, a while ago. Doing everything I can to stay off that topic, but the other thing that kind of came into play here in the last 24 hours, and it's in accordance with that whole large police action that moved a couple hundred kids down North Avenue in swift order, is the I was at an intersection. I was at a stop sign today when an officer drove past in front of me, and they had the window down on the passenger side of the cruiser, and officer number 2 sitting in the passenger seat had his arm up, like with his head resting on his hand, and he had a full tribal sleeve tattoo going all the way up his arm, and the tattoo even extended up onto his hand. When did that policy change that people in that type of position, officers, I'm usually a pretty strict constitutionalist if that's how you choose to advertise yourself, but we used to also have standards of appropriate presentation that were pretty strictly enforced, even down to whether you could have facial hair or not. Officers could have a mustache but not a beard. They could have hair to their collar but not past. Well, all those standards apparently have gone, so now there's a sleeve tattoo running all the way up an officer's arm with a short sleeve shirt. And so you're seeing the majority of the tattoo. And I can imagine that, people who grew up with those standards being in place that are still active citizenry of this country, I could see a lot of them being quite frankly, quite freaked out by an officer wearing that. So I'm really curious as to when possibly that standard changed and just,
I've been wondering about the same standard, like, and it seems to be a lot with the Wisconsin police, the weight issue too. A lot of these cops or police officers are hugely overweight. Like, how are they possibly going to catch anybody? I've seen outlining areas of like 3-4 cop towns.
Sure.
And some of these cops are 400 pounds. Go at least.
Easy. Yeah.
How is that possible?
Yeah. Part of it is you can't fire someone for what they've deemed now a medical condition with the Americans with Disabilities Act. Part of it was there was so much pressure for different hiring standards. This is true. It's an observation that I made personally, so I'm hanging my hat on. This is an actual thing that happened to me. I was on 41, 45 heading northwest out of Milwaukee. Okay. There was an accident up ahead, and so traffic was moving very slow. And on the shoulder, a Milwaukee County Sheriff's Deputy Tahoe came rolling up the shoulder past everybody because a little bit further up, apparently some car had done some shenanigans earlier back and was cutting in and went flying up around traffic and passed on the shoulder and everything. Right. And they got enough reports about this that this sheriff's deputy was now going up there to deal with this person, to pull them out of traffic and to pull them over. So as we're creeping up in traffic, we got to watch this whole thing. And the male officer who was in the passenger seat of the and apparently the training officer, he might have been a sergeant or someone like that, he basically got out and was past the front of the Suburban, of the Tahoe, when he realized that his trainee was still trying to extricate herself from the steering wheel and seatbelt because she was so huge that she could not physically get herself out of the Tahoe.
That's an issue.
Wow.
Where she literally finally just laid back into, she turned herself 90 degrees to the steering wheel. So her side and her body was pressed into the steering wheel with the seat pretty much all the way back. Now, in all fairness, the Tahoe Chevy Suburban chassis, you really can't run that seat that far back. I had one, and I could, on long drives, it was like, I really can't get this to a comfortable place. You have to really kind of be in at-the-ready type seating. But still, the fact that this woman was easily 350 pounds was what was causing her problems in her occupying the space that she was allocated to drive this vehicle. So there's all the stuff that goes with being a deputy sheriff's squad vehicle. There's the computer and all the console for all the light stuff. There's flashlight. There's everything in there. So she's now struggling. What she literally ultimately ended up doing was lifting her feet up off the ground and sliding out until she slid off the seat and her butt hit the door sill, and then her feet kind of locked into the edge of the pavement, and that's where she stopped.
Oh,
That's
that is
incredible.
awesome.
And this the training officer is now at the rear of the other vehicle. He's waiting because it's supposed to be her call, her call or whatnot. And he's just standing there, and he's gotten to the point of where he's crossed and folded his arms, and they're resting. And he's just back looking at her. He's just standing there, just looking, and he can't do anything. And he's fully in view of the dash cam. You can't see what he sees, but all you can see is him just, and I would love to get that footage of just the expressions on his face as he's watching this woman slide her gigantic butt out of this vehicle. And his obligation is to train her because she's a minority. And they need to have a certain percentage of minority hires.
Wow.
They have to have a certain number of minority promotions. And that's a tough, scary, sad thing that your safety is being jeopardized because we're adhering to a hiring standard, not a proficiency standard.
Right.
There's no way this woman runs not even a 50-yard dash. There's no way she runs 50 yards without keeling over
50
dead.
steps.
Well, what happens in that case with self-awareness? I mean, I know myself would not be a good cop, not only because of the weight issue, but because of certain other issues like my temperament.
Right.
I would not be a good police officer.
Right.
I just know that personally. Yep. I also know I shouldn't work in a bank. There's a lot of money in a bank.
Right.
A lot of temptation for me. I would never work at a bank.
Right.
It's just self-awareness of myself.
There you go.
What happens to that? What they just, hey, maybe you should be a police officer. Well, sure.
Well, there's really good pay and good benefits, and you get a car, and you know, the best thing is there's a 42% disability rate amongst the officers. So, you know, if you come in massively overweight, horribly out of shape, there's a good chance that you'll get hurt pretty early on. Then you'll get a permanent lifetime disability that you get to sit at home and get paid the rest of your life to sit around and do nothing.
Man.
That's my favorite
gross.
one. That is my favorite one. I just read that statistic somewhere that currently, oh God, I'm not going to say it because I don't know the exact details. I don't have it locked in my head. But some profession presently in America right now, 50% disability of its workforce.
That would be custodians.
I actually, for some reason, I think it's
Is it a physical
active
job?
duty military. Are claiming 50% are claiming actual physical disabilities from work.
What?
Which, you know,
I
there's
guess if
actually
you've
probably some truth to that.
Sure.
If you have to tighten down there.
There you go. Thank you. Oh, there you go. Thank you.
But yeah, it's just it's one of those weird things that that we just we kind of have come to just accept in society. Yeah. There was an issue I wanted to talk about. We were touching on free speech earlier, and I did remember one. I don't know if you heard about what happened in Montreal, up in Canada. Canada, you know, the great home of free people who get free health care and live free and are wonderful.
Crazy Canadians.
Yeah, new. They have the similar versions of the Occupy Wall Street thing going on up there, and they have just implemented new fines that are not in the tens of dollars, not in the hundreds of dollars, but are in the thousands and tens of thousands of dollars for demonstrating. For if you're a group of 50 or more, if you don't inform the police department and then tell them what you're going to say and protest about, and then they get to edit and tell you what you can and can't say. If you violate any of those things, tens of thousands of dollars in fines and incarceration. So, so that whole notion that Canada is this beautiful, constantly great place to go, folks. Yeah, not really holding up its end of the bargain. So, so it is 8:26 here on Extemporadio. Coming here into town this week, Thursday the 31st through Tuesday. Our good friend Duncan Carson's going to be in from Texas, and he is going to be at Karma Bar and Grill. And that's not Duncan Carson. That is, I think that's some more. Wow, that was really super loud. I think that's some more B-52s. But Duncan Carson is going to be in town, and he'll be performing at the at Karma Bar and Grill 8:30 on Friday night. Make sure you stop in, get a chance to check him out while he's in town. That is an up-and-coming dude. Pretty much can guarantee that guy's going to have himself a Comedy Central special someday. Here's a little more. Here is Duncan Carson on Love from Cap City Comedy in Austin, Texas.
Let's talk about love, everybody. Yeah? Woo, right? Is anybody in love right now? Fucking how? Okay? I don't understand how anybody can be in love, because basically what you're doing is recalibrating the entire way you live your life. Right? Like, you used to wake up every morning and say to yourself, like, I'm awake. I'm not hurt. All right, let's fucking do this. And then you go about your day, right? That's really simple. But now what you're doing instead is you're waking up, you're like, I'm awake. I'm not hurt. Holy shit, is this other person not hurt? No, they're all right. And not until that moment of relief can you move around with your business. You know, you can't... It's fucked up, all right? That's what I'm saying, because now you're trying to keep track of yourself and this entire other being that's not you. And you just can't account for that, right? Like, you can account for yourself, 10 fingers, 10 toes, right? So if you're in love with somebody, I guess what you have to do is keep them around you all the time so you can count their fingers and toes constantly. It's all the way to 20. Probably about once an hour, I think, would do it. Because that's how important they are. But you can't do that. They have to go to work or visit their mother or some shit, right? And then they're just gone all day. And you don't know what's happening to them. They could be down to like 9, 8 fingers and or toes. For all you fucking know. And it's just, look, if they were my fingers and toes, and what I've done in this scenario is decided that those person's appendages are just as important as my own. The point I'm trying to make, people, is that if my fingers and toes went somewhere else for the day, I couldn't get any shit done. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, so wherever they are, they're all that you think about. And you hope that you're all that they think about, but you can never really be sure. And it's fucking exhausting, all right? Like, so by the time they finally get home, and you count up and see that they're not hurt, you're already falling asleep. Right? And you can't even really enjoy your time together because you're too tired from loving the shit out of them all day long. And it's not fair because if you were listening, if you weren't too busy falling asleep next to them because you're so fucking exhausted from love, you would hear them, you know, also counting to 20. So just everybody wake the fuck up, all right? And find somebody that you can literally count on. Have a good night.
Spare change.
And that was Duncan Carson at Cap City Comedy back in August of last year. You can catch Duncan June 1st at Karma Bar and Grill, 8:30 and 10:30. Stop in, check that show out if you want to see our good friend Duncan Carson. So I'm going to tease this, and hopefully we can immediately get right off of it and get on to other things.
That's what she said.
But
Oh, it's been a while. That's been a while.
yeah.
I held off like 2 shows.
Did you really? Thanks.
I did.
That's
You're
awesome.
welcome.
The self-control that
I
you
think that should be a
exhibit.
swear jar thing too.
It's amazing self-control that you exhibit.
But that's what she said, Jar.
Yes,
That's
absolutely.
what she said. Coming up in 2 weeks here on Extemporadio, we're going to have a 50 Shades of Grey discussion. So all of our listeners out there, make sure you pick up a copy of 50 Shades of Grey, read it, and
It's ruining my marriage.
and it's ruining Jason Evans' marriage. Make sure you read that and be prepared to discuss. We'll take calls on 50 Shades of Grey. Apparently coming up June 7th somewhere in Milwaukee, there's a 50 Shades of Grey bar party where people can network
crazy.
regarding 50 Shades of Grey. And we're going to just assume that it's not talking about my hair color because I'm getting there. Hey-yo.
Oh,
Yeah.
that would be Russ Martin. Russ has got the gray going on, man. He's
Oh well, no. Russ Martin is a complete white hair. That guy. You know, Russ is a 60+ man.
Wow.
He's over 60, but the guy totally has the I'm 70 and stopped caring thing going on. Russ actually kind of does the Jeff Lambton living out loud thing, but just through pictures.
Yeah.
He will totally sell himself out with a completely awful picture of himself that I just find endearing and I appreciate.
Or he'll take awful pictures of other people and put them on wanted posters and then post them all over Facebook.
That's awesome.
Does he do that?
That's what he did with me.
Did he do that to you? I think he just did that to you. I don't think he really did that to a lot of other people.
Well, I would like to think that he does. I thought he wasn't just picking on me.
Well,
I guess he was. That was all right. That was a good poster.
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah. I'll be hanging on my front door.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, print that baby out.
Dude, that's your marketing campaign. Just put your wanted poster all over the
Yeah, that'd be great.
all over
Yeah,
town.
my face
There you
will
go.
not bring any.
Straight to
any
MK
sight, no.
MK funny.
That face would scare people.
Well, we could stage something like a kidnapping and have you go missing for a while.
Yeah, and then tell everyone on the radio beforehand so it wouldn't be that staged anymore.
Nobody's listening. Believe me.
Okay.
We're fine.
Cool, man.
Thanks for listening, both of you.
Or we could do something like put a piano in the middle of the
listening. Don't tell anybody.
Put a piano in the middle of a lagoon, just sit it there, and no one will know how the hell it got there. Did you ever see that? In Florida, someone did that. Put a grand piano on one of the sandbanks in the middle of... yeah. We got to do something like that.
Wasn't that a post-Charlie thing? Hurricane Charlie came through, and that's where it got left behind?
No, this was actually placed
somebody
there
put it
on
out
purpose.
there.
Yeah.
Wow, crazy. Beautiful.
We got to do something like that.
And then just have everybody talking about it?
Yeah, like everyone talking about it.
I have a piano that could work for.
Well, you can get a piano on Craigslist anywhere. I mean, they got them for free.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, but that's on Craigslist, which means you then have to go somewhere. I already have one that I would love for it to get some specialized. We could paint it like Dayglow orange, and then maybe put it up on top of the Hone Bridge.
Yeah. With a big MKE funny flag.
Big
on it or something.
MKE funny flag,
so that they know where to go to arrest the people.
Exactly. That's that's the thing I've always seen about the stickers and the posted bills and everything like that. That people put restaurant things on your car, the menus and things like that. I'm like, that's awesome, but now they know who to come arrest for littering all over the place. And, I don't know why they don't do that.
And trespassing, you can get in trouble for that. I
think it's illegal, yeah.
I used to hand out flyers as a business on the side, and I used to have guys go in parking lots, and the store would they can literally like get you arrested for trespassing.
Sure.
For putting flyers out on cars.
Sure.
What if you buy like a burger and then do it?
I never asked that because they were never my own flyers. They were clients' flyers, so I really didn't care.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't getting the calls.
Sure. Yeah. Hey, you jerks. Well, so I don't know if we should venture down an adventures in real estate road tonight, but we're in the midst of 10 to 15-hour days getting T.W. Hansen's rental property.
I saw some of those pictures.
Oh, yeah. I actually kind of look like I know what I'm doing in some of those pictures. It's pretty amazing.
I didn't
guys
see
post
you in
pictures of
any.
you
I
guys
just
doing
saw
the work?
pictures of stuff.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm doing, there's some pictures of me sanding and measuring out for cabinets. And
Did you pose?
No, just doing my thing. Tim Hansen has this way of
Shirtless.
catching you when you're not looking. And
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, he does that.
Yeah, and I think it's because you never know if he's just looking at his phone or if he's actually,
Taking
in
a
the midst of
picture.
taking
I was looking at some of his pictures, and I was actually in one, and I was like,
You don't even
okay,
remember that being taken.
Where did this happen?
Sure. Well, this guy's taking video of the approaching thunderstorm outside. That's always disconcerting when someone's got a camera out going, this is a weather event like I've never seen before, such that I'm going to capture it for posterity on video.
If you got struck by lightning right now,
sure he's
would
not
you
thinking that.
laugh?
Yes.
Oh, there's no question.
Oh, yeah, I'd
there's no
laugh too.
question. I'd be laughing my butt off.
I'd probably
Absolutely.
pee my pants.
Yeah. Could you put your arm up again and shoot another picture, please? We just want, we want the odds
Here,
in our
could
favor.
you hold this large metal item?
Yeah. Well, he's got his dog that he's going to fly like a kite here when the next storm front comes in.
So real estate. So what's going on with his?
Well, it's a ton of work and
Segue.
and things have to happen there. So if anybody out there is a tile setter,
I've set tiles
painter-
once.
Once?
Once. I've also laid a floating floor.
Oh, yeah? That's not that tough.
I redid my whole kitchen by myself with my wife.
Oh, good for you. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Way to put a bunch of carpenters and kitchen and bath designers out of work, you son of a gun. That's nice of you to
I'm a do-it-myselfer.
Are you a do-it-yourselfer?
Yeah, except electricity.
Oh, yeah?
Electricity scares me because you cannot see it.
Because you were a maintenance guy.
I was a maintenance guy, and
You can't see it.
that's what scares me.
You can see the crap coming out of the pipe in the plumbing, so you'll tackle that because,
And crap coming out of the plumbing cannot kill you.
Oh, well.
Unless you eat it.
Well, it depends on how much crap.
What?
Did you just say eat crap out of That was amazing. No, I was a maintenance person for a while, and I went through my... I have gotten jolted by 480 volts at one time.
That's a lot of power.
That is a lot of power. In fact, it blew me off the machine
Holy
quite
crap.
violently
Yeah.
and spit the gum out of my mouth quite violently and melted the screwdriver I was hanging on to the machine.
Nice.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
I
probably
would've-
lost 5 years there.
I think your gum probably didn't go anywhere. I think what happened was you just went, ah, and as you went flying backwards, your gum just was in
stayed
the
in
air,
place.
and you left your gum more than the gum left you. I think it's
480 hurts a lot.
That's a lot of power.
It's a lot of
That's
power.
not
and
110, baby.
It hurts.
Yeah.
110 can 110 kill you? Is that out of an outlet? Yeah, that can
Yeah,
kill
it
you.
can.
Yeah, a toaster in the water.
Yeah, just depends on how grounded you are or not grounded.
Seriously, I've been volted like numerous times at work, but I didn't get the proper training. See, they just said, "Hey, you want to be a maintenance mechanic?" And I said, "Absolutely, I know what I'm doing." And then they sent me off to a Lionel seminar for a day on how to do industrial electricity.
Wow.
Yeah, it was great.
A day?
We got free subs, man.
That's worth
there you
it.
Free
go.
subs.
I was just gonna
and then they
say.
set me loose on the machines.
I was just gonna say, now was this till 1 o'clock, and then lunch was on your own? But no, it actually included the lunch.
Absolutely, yeah. And then I got to put my own circuits together
Jeez.
and everything. So then they just set me out on the floor with 480 and said, "Go test, switch out motors and do your thing."
Wow.
And yeah, I almost killed
Nice.
myself numerous times.
Nice. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, good for you. That's special.
So I can do electricity if you need some help. I mean, I'll do it.
So yeah, there's his credentials.
No thanks. But priming is about 70% done on cabinets, painting cabinets. So priming's getting there. Cabinets will be hung. But our biggest challenge now is when we're going to get the final floor sanding and clear coat.
I had a guy.
So, well, we've got a guy, but we're just simply running out of days. And what bugs me, I guess, is that I had a plan for it, and there was a reason I wanted it done 2 weeks ago, because I knew that was the place we could have the 2-day gap that you can't be on this floor at all. Well, in order to hit this now, this thing has to happen Wednesday because client is coming in on Friday. So if we're going to have our 2-day window, it's got to happen Wednesday, and I just don't see it happening by Wednesday when we have the ability to have nothing on it because you can't even be on it.
I know, yeah.
So
You're refinishing wood floors?
yeah, it's
I've done that.
100-year-old maple floors, but we could keep working in the bathroom. It's just that there's no way to get to the bathroom without walking on the floor, and so there's no way to stay off it for those 24
When I had a
hours.
person do that, I had to move out of my house for 2 days.
Yeah.
Because he did the entire place.
Oh yeah.
And then after it was done, it was gorgeous. And then he's like, well, before he did, he's like, you want me to take the creaks out of the floor here and there? I said, absolutely not. Leave them in there.
Yeah.
That's how I know if my children are sneaking out of the house.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
Yep, because I remember that as a kid when I was a kid. So,
Yep.
So
Yeah,
use
I
that
think
to torture my children.
I think the first time your kid at 12 years old or 13 years old asks where the WD-40 is, you kind of know where they're going with that. You know, you're going to either have window tracks that are all dripping and running down the side of the house, or suddenly that squeaky back door isn't going to be squeaking anymore. And yeah, that's one of those things. So. Storms are getting good here. I'm out of things to talk about.
I have something.
What's going on, Jason Evans?
I was watching Doomsday Preppers last night.
What?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and they had what's where those guys prepare for whatever they think's going to happen, the end of the world, whether it's a tornado
cool.
or a oil shortage.
Sure.
This is a show?
Yeah, it's called Doomsday Preppers. And anyways, last night there was an old guy on there, and he was from California, and he's preparing and prepping for the big one, the big earthquake.
Sure.
Happening. So his plan, he's got his bug out bag or whatever to put, in there. His plan is to live off the land of California, okay, like eat leaves and stuff, and that's fine, but there's a lot of people.
Screw the grapes, just eat the grape leaves.
Okay,
Yeah,
this
forget the grapes.
is what shocked me. Okay, he had no guns. He had the one knife. Okay,
Sure.
And he said, he was down by a river where there's a bridge where bums stay, and he's like, I know these bums are very territorial. So when the collapse happens, I'm going to need to barter to stay with them and do this or that. And I thought to myself, dude, they're not going to take your coins. They're just going to kill you and take your bag.
Eat you.
They're going to cut you up and eat you.
Exactly.
That's exactly
So he's thinking
first
about
thought. Like, this
training.
guy's going to get eaten.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then he was explaining he had a slingshot type device, but it wasn't it didn't have the frame, just like you put your thumb on the rubber band and pull back with a rock.
Sure.
And he was saying, now I can kill game and foul with this as a bird flew by. And I'm thinking, you know what? I don't think I could shoot that bird flying with a shotgun. How is he going to shoot it with a rock?
He's got lots of
He's
time.
an idiot.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I'm gonna bet his name is Spare Change.
Yeah.
And,
Hey.
I got
Call
wax. I got a knife.
that is the best.
I'm gonna
callback.
bottle with
You got to
I'm
go
gonna
at least
trade.
a half an hour between
I'm gonna
callbacks.
trade.
You got to go half an hour between references for callbacks.
It was disturbing.
I'm always amazed at that. I think the best thing you can learn to do is how to skin an animal, how to trap, gut and handle an animal, cut it up for its meat, and then also be able to use the skin. Because just in case, no, you got to be able to skin it, because obviously what you want to do is to be able to trade with some French fur traders as they come down the local, river to the trading post, with their gunpowder and their
I'm pretty good at
and their
outdoorsy
bags of
stuff.
rice, and you can trade them a frickin' squirrel pelt for
Yeah.
for
Rice?
some. Yeah.
I'm actually pretty outdoorsy. I went to camp for 7 years when I was a kid.
Sure.
Camp Kashina out in Eagle, Wisconsin.
Yeah. Was that a scout camp?
No, it was a YMCA camp.
YMCA camp.
Yeah, it was great.
I was more Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts, Weeblos type thing. I didn't get all the way to the Eagle Scout thing, but that training, that living out in the woods, is helpful.
Absolutely.
And it's kind of funny. Anytime I feel like I'm being put in one of those type of situations, like this could all go, bad. I'm amazed at how quick I kind of recall some of that type of, how do you make a shelter when you have nothing and things like that. So,
Or just the simple skills of putting a tent up. I told my son yesterday, because we were watching that Doomsday thing, and I said to my son, I'm like, you're lucky I went to camp because I could save your life I know how to put up a tent. And he laughed at me like I was joking. And I said, he's like, that's easy, Dad. I'm like, have you ever tried putting up a tent? They can be kind of hard. And he's like, whatever. He's like, blew me off.
well, and
So then I threw him outside and gave him sticks and stuff and
you
said,
go.
build one.
Well, it's
Goodbye.
it's technically easy with the dome type tents and everything today. I mean, the tents that we put up were 2 single aluminum poles, and the rest was just canvas and string, and you had to stretch that sucker out so it wasn't sagging, and tying it off to trees if the ground was frozen. I mean, we did winter camping. We went out and camped when it was 27 degrees.
Hardcore. That's hardcore.
Yeah, you're going out, and it's a troop. It's 2 troop leaders and like 6 kids, all under age 12. I mean, these guys are risking frostbite.
Is that
a lot of
the
responsibilities.
is that the freeze your butt off patch?
It's kind of just.
It wouldn't be the same now, would it?
It's a cup with brown and a little stream of smoke going up off of it. But to this day, I mean, I still travel everywhere. I have a knife with me all the time. I feel it's one of those I feel naked without a knife, because as a kid and this whole zero tolerance policy, it's that declining standards thing we were talking about earlier. There was not a male, and probably 50% of the girls, while I was going through grade school, every single male, 50% of the girls was carrying a knife. Never once was a knife pulled in anger. Never once did somebody do anything. Never once. There were some idiots who did a little bit of vandalizing and carved their initials and a girl's initials in a desktop or something. But hey, you know how many LLs we have in our school? Leslie Lipke, you frickin' moron. Hey, we figured it out. And DS, well, that would be your girlfriend, Debbie Stockowitz. So, hey, it was really tough to figure out who the idiot was that carved his initials in. So there was some fairly swift justice. But I always have to have a knife on me, because it's like, and if you're busy in life, so if I got a show or something, I've been working all day and I got to race out the door and I got to change before I go to a show, sometimes this won't transfer into the pants that I'm wearing for the show, and that's of course the one time that it's like, oh yeah, I got a knife. Oh shit, I don't have my knife. Oh, well, there you go. There's a buck. I might not use it for 2 weeks. And then the one time you need it is the moment you don't, which is just the reinforcement of why you always have it
It's
with
just like having a good lighter when you're a smoker.
It's just like that. Exactly. Tools of the trade. That's what you got to have. We got to have our tools. So, yeah, that's that. So, so what was the important thing on MK that you brought up that got us to knives? What was that?
The what?
I don't know what got us there because you said, "Oh, I got something to talk about."
Oh, the Doomsday Preppers.
Oh, Doomsday.
That we were talking
Yeah.
about.
So on the Doomsday guys, Doomsday Preppers, whoever thought that guys with pop collars would one day be talking about Doomsday scenarios? Whew, tough crowd.
That was crazy. And then one lady was on there. She's from, I think, California again. All the wackos are out there. And she was saying she's working out and she has her prep bag and she's going to be like, I'm going to walk 10 miles to my bug out vehicle and then this and that. She says, I have about enough supplies for 3 weeks and then I might have to go to undesirable means of survival. Which she meant prostitution. And I was like, wow, that's noble, I guess. I just thought it was weird.
As long as it's undesirable.
Like, wow, you've really thought a lot of this out. Maybe you should get more supplies.
She is a prepper. She is a prepper. Yeah, no thought to having like a gross of condoms or, you know, there's a lot of, when you think about it, there's actually a lot of open space in any given vehicle that you could probably just pack full of condoms.
Yeah.
And be
well, I think
prepared.
the thing was she didn't want to go there, but she knew that she may have to.
Well, if she only packed 3 weeks worth of food.
I misunderstood.
Yeah, she's kind of asking for
I misunderstood.
That'd be a great topic for your
I was remiss in what I
relationship stuff.
in what I
what's
didn't know
how
to
much
know.
food to
Doomsday
pack? When,
There you go.
jeez. No.
So I kind of see some of their points.
Sure.
Most of them, I think they're nuts. They're insane.
Right.
You know, I understand the gun point. I'd like to learn how to train with guns and learn karate and stuff, and you know, like just basic skills that
You
would
got
be
that
great.
right here at this table.
Yeah,
There you go. You
yeah.
can learn some taekwondo there. I could
Some
take you to a
basic
shooting
CQC.
range.
Yeah.
Well, I've been to a shooting
see?
range. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've shot off some guns.
Does your shooting range have live human beings as targets that you get to shoot at?
No,
Does
no,
yours?
not anymore.
Just asking.
I'm not an urban hunter.
I'm just asking.
But no, actually, my grandpa let me shoot shotguns when I was 5.
Okay.
Sweet.
Yeah, he would drink a lot, and then he would
Hand over
There you
the
go.
12 gauge
Show
to
me how to
the
use
to
a
the
handgun.
8-year-old and
Nice.
shoot at squirrels which weren't there, and
yeah.
it was
And,
good times.
and most of you is
does
still
sound
here.
awesome.
That whole side of your face that's blown off.
Yeah,
you
I
barely
can't
even
even
notice
tell.
that.
it's steel.
barely
It's
noticed that.
steel.
Yeah, you barely
I'm like
noticed
a
that.
007
A
evil
robot now.
person.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Is that's the road we're going down?
government
Okay, yeah,
steel,
let's
sure.
do that. Let's go down
Let's
that
do
road.
that.
Yeah, you know, I like to think that one of the cool things about living where we live, this is the most insecure I felt, was living inside of 43. Was I feel if there's an area, if I've ever been in a place where I feel like I'm in a rough spot, that's kind of right there. I'm going to take this call. I don't know.
Is that really gonna call?
Caller. Oh,
It's
good.
Tony getting us back.
Yeah, that was totally. I feel like there will be a difficulty getting out of the city. When I first started, when I moved to Milwaukee in '96, the first thing I noticed as I was looking at maps from AAA was that whole freeway loop that is 94, 894, and 94 heading east, and
Yeah.
I just noticed that big center thing. It would be utterly nothing for the government to completely loop and just secure people inside that ring.
That's a good point.
I mean, it's like I just noticed that immediately, that you could have a near constant convoy of patrol vehicles going around that freeway loop and keeping whatever undesirable percentage of the population they wanted to put in there and just let them fight and take each other out.
Yeah, it'd be like Mad Max, the Thunderdome.
Kind of like,
2
yeah.
men enter, 1 man leave.
Yeah, except it's going to be
man.
770,000 people wedged into that
And I'm not
interior
sure
area.
if there's a midget for my shoulders in that area.
You don't think so?
I don't know, maybe.
There's got to be at least one out of 770. I think the odds are there's probably going to be like 40 midgets.
Yeah,
the
you
big thing will be is whether you can convince one of them to hang out with you.
Well, he
That'll
needs
be
to
the
go on
tough
my
part.
shoulders.
Well, yeah, but you got to convince them. There's going to be another 600,000 people all trying to get one of those 40 midgets because everybody's going to want
They're
their
not
own
all
midget.
going to think of Mad Max and the Thunderdome, man.
I don't think that comes from a Mad Max perspective. If I'm facing a possible death scenario, I want a midget. I want to have my own personal midget. I want to have that. I want to have that midget on my side that just gives me that little bit of edge. And think about it. They don't eat that much. You know, it wouldn't be that much to maintain the midget.
And he probably knows the best ways to sneak out of places, like tiny places.
Yeah,
Was that Depeche Mode, your own personal midget? I mean, everybody's going to remember that song when they're facing the doomsday scenario.
Well, the backup plan, if that's not a possibility, my backup plan would be just to float to Michigan.
Just float over to Michigan.
Yeah,
well,
because
there you go.
I'm not going to be able to swim the whole way. I'm not as fit as you are.
I don't think I can swim like that either.
You're pretty
That's a
fit, though.
that's a
You could
long
probably
haul.
swim.
That's
Well,
a
that's why I'm
long-
going to
Yeah.
just float on my back.
You're just going to
Yeah,
float
that's
on your back there.
I'm very buoyant.
You're very buoyant. And on that note,
Wonderful.
Thanks for tuning into Extemporadio. You're listening to RiverWestRadio.com.